Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at variables and taking input in Python. So what we're going to do is go over and create a new file. We're just going to call it variables.py as it's a Python file. It's going to have the .py extension. And once we're here, we're going to look at what variables are. A variable is simply a container of a certain data type. So it is used to store numbers, strings, or Boolean values. So in Python, to create a variable, all you have to do is put the name of the variable on the left and put an equal sign and put the value that variable is going to store to the right. So for example, if we wanted x to be the variable name and we wanted to assign the value 4, this is how we would do it. We could have another variable y, and we can set it to 5. This is a variable that stores numbers. We could also have variables that store strings. For example, name, we can set it equals to able. To store a Boolean value, we are going to follow the same steps. So we would name our variable is _student. And we can set that either to true or to false. Here, when we write true or false, we need to make sure that the T and the F is capital. So these are the 3 different data types that you can store in variables in Python. So using the print statement we saw in the previous video, we can print these values. So for example, we can print is _student, save the file, and we can go to the right and run it. As you can see, it prints true. We could also print name, we can print x, we can print y. Another thing we can do is add variables. So for example, we can add x to y, and we should get 9. As you can see in the terminal, it prints 9. When the plus operator is used between 2 numbers, it's used to add. But when we use it with a string, it's used to concatenate. That means it puts 2 strings together. So we could have another variable called father's name, and we can set it to Gideon. Then we can print name plus father name. We can save the file and we can run it. As you can see, it prints able Gideon. But there's no space in between because we didn't add a space, so we could manually add a space in between and add another plus sign. So here it's going to print my full name, as you can see. Something else we can do is we can combine strings and numbers. So for example, if we wanted to say Abel Gideon is, we could add a string is, we are going to put in my age. Here is going to be a number, so we're going to put a space, then we're going to put a variable here, and we're going to finish it off with years old. So we can have a variable, let's call it age, and let's set it to 19, and we could put the age variable here, and let's see what happens when we run it. As you can see, we get an error. It says can only concatenate strings. So what we need to do is convert the age variable into a string. It's currently a number. So all we have to do is go to the age variable and type in str, and in parentheses we're going to have our age variable. What this is going to do is convert age from a number to a string. So we can save our file and run it again. And as you can see, it prints Abel Gideon, 19 years old. So that's all about variables, and the next topic we're going to be looking at is taking input from a user. So let's clear this out. And what we need for taking input is the input function. So let's say we wanted to ask the user for their name. So we're going to create a variable called name, and we're going to set it equal to input, And inside the input parentheses, we're going to put in the prompt or what we want to ask the user. So we're going to put in enter your name. Then we're going to simply print out hello space, and we're going to use the concatenation, which is the plus operator plus name. So we're going to save our file and we're going to run it. As you can see at the bottom, it asks us for our name. We put in Abel and it prints out hello Abel. So this is how you take input from a user. By default, when you take input, it's a string. So for example, if you wanted to take an age, you would have to cast the age using the method we used previously. To cast our age, you need to cast it into whatever data type you want. So here we're going to do a little exercise, and we're going to also get introduced to comments. Comments in Python are lines of code or lines of statements that are not going to be executed. They're just there for other purposes. So we're going to write a comment. So the comment is just going to explain what our program is going to do. So our program is going to ask user for age, and it's going to tell them their age and 5 years. So what's the first thing we need to do? We need to ask the user for their age. So we're going to use a variable called age, and we're going to set it equal to input, and we're going to make the prompt enter your age. And once we've got their age, we need to add 5 to it and store it into another variable. As I said before, the input function is going to return a string, but we want a number so we can add it with 5. So we're going to create another variable called age in 5 years, and we're going to set it equal to age plus 5. Here we would be adding a string, which is age, to a number, which is not possible. So we need to convert this age into an integer. So we're going to use int, and in parentheses we're going to have age. Then finally we're going to print out the following statement. We're going to tell them you will be, followed by the concatenation operator, age in 5 years. We're going to continue with a string, years old in 5 years. So now we can save our program and see if it works. So now we can also run it with the terminal as I showed you in the previous video. So we're going to run it from here. We're going to put in Python 3 followed by the name of our file, which is variables.py. It's asking us for our age. I'm going to put in 19. It seems we've got an error. So what is the error? It's saying can only concatenate strings and not int. Well, that is because age in 5 years, we've converted it into an integer. So we are trying to concatenate a string and an integer here. So that is not possible. They all need to be the same type for concatenation. So what we need to do is convert age in 5 years back into a string. So we're going to just cast it using str, and in parentheses we're going to have age in 5 years. Now we can save the program again. We're going to clear our terminal and put in Python 3, the name of our file, variables.py. It asks us for our age. We put in 19. As you can see, it says you will be 24 years old in 5 years. So this is all about the basics of taking input and variables in Python. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to like the video and subscribe for more daily programming videos.